Hey, Julian Kraus here, and I wanted to use the Zoom H5 as a preamp for XLR microphones going into the A7s. And after some extensive testing, I want to share my settings for the best sound quality possible. So let's get started. First of all, you have to have a cable with a 3.5mm stereo jack on both sides. You connect one end of this cable into your line out on the Zoom H5. The other end goes into your microphone input on the A7s. If you want to use the built-in microphones of the Zoom H5, you're done here. But as I said, I wanted to hook up an XLR microphone, in this case a Sennheiser ME64. To connect this, you take an XLR cable, connect it to the microphone and the other side to one of the XLR ports on the H5. On a hardware level, everything is now connected. The sound, which is coming into the microphone, will go into the Zoom H5, gets amplified, and then goes into the A7s. So now we can move on to the settings which I use in order to let this setup perform its best. First, go into your menu on the A7s and go to Audio Rec Level. Here you can set the microphone gain by turning the dial on the back side. The gain from the A7s is quite noisy, so turn it down to level 1. Essentially this way the A7s applies nearly no additional gain to the recorded signal, so you get the best signal to noise performance. After that, you will notice that the line level coming from the Zoom H5 is still too strong, so you do have to attenuate it. Go into the H5's menu to in and outs and down to line out level. Set this to -15 decibels. Why -15? Well, louder than that and you will run into the problem that the signal will clip on the A7s before it clips on the H5, and lower than that and the level going into the A7s will be too weak, so you would have to boost it in post and you will get a worse signal to noise ratio. So from my extensive testing, -15 decibels is the way to go. It also syncs the meters from your H5 nearly perfectly with those on the A7s. And this means when you record a signal peaking on the H5 at, for example, -12 decibels, you know that it will also peak at -12 inside your A7s. As long as you don't clip on your Zoom H5, you also won't clip on your A7s. So from this point in time, you only need to use the meters and gain control directly on the H5 and don't have to worry about the A7s again. Well, you're all set. Just make sure you arm the channel on the H5 where you want to get your signal from. Now when you start the video recording on the A7s, you will get the audio of your XLR microphone via the H5. For added safety, you can also hit record on your Zoom to record the audio going directly into it to get essentially the same audio track as a backup. Just some words on how I set my gain on the Zoom H5. I usually record dialogue. In this case, I would get the microphone into the recording position and let the talent speak some lines. I will turn the gain of the Zoom H5 up until I'm peaking on average at -12 decibels. It is okay if the signal gets occasionally louder than that. I just make sure that my average peaks hit around -12. This way I have a good strong signal going into the system, and I also do have quite a bit of headroom left. So for example, if my talent is laughing unexpectedly, I can still record this without any distortion. One more thing to watch out is the audio limiter on the A7s, which is turned on by default and cannot be turned off. The limiter will have an effect on your recording when you peak higher than -4 decibels. For more details, check out my video on that topic, but when you set up everything as I showed you, you will be fine. So that's everything. Hope that helps and see you in the next one.